games and all that jazz as well, people, which is quite crazy. We'll have to see. With that being said, should we look at what the newspapers are saying, people? 28, 48, 28. Better yet. Keep your opinions coming. Smash the like button if you have not done such already. You are right. We did use that lifeline. And again, points on the board. Games in hand has to correlate to points on the board. Let's try from left to right for a change, people. Sharing my screen with you lot. Allegedly, I mean, how many players from Brighton do we want? You know, we've been linked with McAllister now, Mitoma, Moses Caicedo. Arteta and Edu told World Cup winner can be signed for Arsenal for 62 million. Brighton have set an asking price of for Alexis McAllister of 62 million. I mean, they could probably get that, you know, but based on their hustle, but I don't think they're going to get that, if I'm honest with you. Probably more 40, 50, and even that, as good as he is. Apparently, I bet there will be no player feeling more confident than Brighton's Alexis McAllister. It's very easy to focus on how fabulous Messi was for Argentina. But in the games I covered, McAllister was their best player. Okay. Oh, this is just an opinion from Graham Souness. Forget all of that, man. I mean, there's a lot of upside to McAllister. But forget all of that. I actually thought there was a link there. But anyways, Arsenal lead race for Brighton sensation Mitoma, but we'll have to fork out 35 million in the summer. Are they in any rush to sell Mitoma? Probably not. I mean, every player's got a price, and without knowing how much he actually costs, they probably will make a handsome profit on the lad. But he just got his feet under the door. Probably looks like Moses Caicedo will leave. And obviously McAllister will probably leave, so they probably hold on to him and get some other players around them. It's not like Brighton don't have good cash reserves. You know, they brought in 50 million for Benjamin White, 20 odd for Basuma, you know, Cucurella 50, 60, and there's probably a name I'm missing out, really. So it's not like they're poor and they mismanage the club and they need to sell their leading player to keep the lights on. Arsenal leading the race to sign Brighton star Mitoma. The Seagulls could demand 35 million for the Japanese winger. Now, I don't quite believe that they'll sell him, much less for 35 million, much less that Arsenal are involved or interested in the lad. But if he was and Brighton wanted to do business with us, doesn't that dispel the logic of, oh, we got a bad relationship? It is what it is. They signed him in 2021 for 2.7 million, people. They'll make a handsome profit on such people. So I'm not too sure on that, but we have done business with Brighton for Benjamin White before. We've obviously signed Leandro Trossard, people. And obviously we had a bid rejected for Moses Caicedo. Apparently Arsenal remain keen on West Ham captain Declan Rice and as an alternative, but his gaffer claims it will take a British record offer. Pardon me for the Irons to sell. So yeah, Liverpool battle Arsenal for Marco Asensio. All of us have been linked, people. Again, his contract is running down, but according to this, Liverpool are keen on signing a midfielder at the end of the season. So I'd imagine Declan Rice, Caicedo, and obviously Asensio. And obviously his contract is running down, people. We all know he can operate as an attacking mid and as a winger. Probably that's the only bulk of him being linked with us, people. Carl Walker's talking smoky. What is he said? Of course, it's a missed opportunity. They dropped points and we need to pick up points to close the gap, but there's still a lot of football to be played, as Carl Walker said. I've been here many, many years in the Premier League and I know the twists and turns that can happen. I know what this team is about. I know what this team can do. We can go on runs from now to the end of the season. It's just about us doing that, really. And he's right, people. This is the team we've got now to the end of the season. We'll fight towards the end. And Pep Guardiola has been, 1 minute he's backing his players, then he's getting on to them about their hunger and things. Pep Guardiola is in his mind games, people. It's important for us to be close and to leave fifth, which is Tottenham right now, far away to secure qualification for the Champions League. The team started really well, many things, but after a mistake, we made 2 weeks again. We repeat it again. We are not in a position to think about being champions. Just the next game, Aston Villa, we will prepare well and play our game as best as possible. Spurs have a fantastic team and squad. They punish you. They have a lot of quality up front and don't need much with transitions, set pieces. Give a lot of credit to them. I think there's a couple of other things. I don't know why Pep Guardiola was moaning about this, but he said coming from Manchester to London is like going to Northern Europe. It's 4 hours. 20 minutes to get to the hotel. It's so exhausting. I'm sorry. So what about the teams from all over the world and all over the country that have to travel? That's not unique to you, lad. And that didn't matter when you lot were winning. Pep's just doing up mind games, people. As a coach, you have to anticipate things before they happen, which is true. Absolutely true. And I think if you read this first paragraph, people, there's a lot of parallels between where his City players maybe he deems they're at now. I won 4. Smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't. I won 4 Ligas in a row in Spain when I was a footballer. In the 5th year, I was not the same. In the 6th year, I was not the same. Maybe that's even why Casemiro left a great thing in Real Madrid to sign for a historical big club in Man United, but not currently there because the hunger. Varane as well. You do get a bit complacent. I was not starving enough. Caviar. Madrid beat me the 5th and 6th. I understand the players, but I am here to do it. Crazy. He said, I realized a little bit later it's difficult for a player to realize in real time exactly what is happening. It's ridiculous how small the margin is between winning and losing. You have to pay attention. I tried my best. I never doubt that players do their best, but at the same time, you think, okay, I've done it, I've won. After to be top again, it takes time. Fair enough. And he praised Johan Cruyff, obviously, as well, people. So again, Pep is in the mind games, man. Pep is doing up mind games, man. Pep is fully doing up the mind games. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. He spoke about Caicedo, but yeah, man. He then said, firstly, I don't admit it. Secondly, if I did admit, I would be admitting that my players are not good enough. I never understand a manager who says his team are not good enough and they need 7 new players. I have to talk with them. I have to train them. Tell me which one is not good. All of them are good. If we are able to play in our system that we believe in the individuals will rise. So I do not accept the players are not good enough. Of course, they're good. It's my job to make them feel good, play, and develop. Crazy. Crazy. And they have obviously, I do think they're missing Zinchenko, Raheem Sterling, and Gabriel Jesus. Good, vital squad players for them. I think that's enough with Pep Guardiola's verbal. Shout out to obviously Gabriel Jesus, people. He's back running, as you can see here. Hopefully, there's no. Let's turn this off. As you can see, oh, you might not even be able to see. Let's bring it back. So it's nice to see he's back running. This is personal trainer. Just because he's running don't mean he's back anytime soon. But it's lovely to see from Gabriel Jesus. Arsenal and Chelsea have always been interested in Declan Rice. It remains to be seen if the Manchester clubs join the race. West Ham could ask for a price between 90 and £100 million, which doesn't surprise me. Asensio's agents are in London. It could be for some other reasons. Again, you're all seeing the news about City there. But again, further confirmation on Asensio. Marco Asensio's agent jets in for Arsenal talks with Mikel Arteta, a fan of the Real Madrid star. Allegedly, people, his agents will fly to London this week to get a feel for the Premier League interest in their client. The 27-year-old's future is still uncertain, and Real Madrid will wait until March or April to decide whether or not to offer him fresh terms. So that probably tells you that they've probably made the decision, but maybe your form could do something to tip the balance. His current deal expires this summer, and they only signed him for 4 million. And they might deem, you know what, we signed you many years ago for 4 million. You've gone from a young man to an experienced individual. You know, it is what it is. Let's let you go. You've scored some goals, some crucial goals for us. That 4 million has helped us win in your own way the Champions League. His current contract situation has opened a door for his agents to see what else is out there. And obviously, agents might not have no interest of letting his client go to the Prem. They might be using that to pit against Madrid's offer. And Arsenal, whose boss Mikel Arteta is a fan, are among the clubs they are planning to talk to. Asensio is looking for a 4-year deal at 27. That will tie him down to 31, and a higher wage than he receives in Madrid, which is a reported 118k a week, people. So yeah, and his future is always volatile. As it said there, last year he was leaning towards an exit. Apparently he's got interest from all over Europe. PSG tried to sign him, allegedly. I don't really buy the rumors. I mean, he'd be welcome, but why not? Arsenal are still dealing with a number of injury concerns ahead of a huge run of fixtures. I mean, we know Gabriel Jesus is out. We've just looked at that. We know El Nene's season's done. We know Smith Rowe's having a tough 6-7 months of this opening season. And Reece Nelson is back in training and he could be involved against Brighton, people. Lewis Dunk reveals how Moses Caicedo and Brighton players reacted to midfielders' attempts to join Arsenal, people. Let's see. Apparently, they stuck with him. They have to. He's one of your best players. He's going to help you get European football, whether he stays at Arsenal or not. I mean, joins Arsenal or stays at Brighton, it's irrelevant until the end of the season. Obviously, it was a difficult situation for him, and these things happen in football. It's not the first, and it won't be the last players at a football club having this going on over their heads. He's a young boy. We stick with him. He's a great lad and obviously a fantastic player. Who knows how long we'll have him, and we're grateful to have him for at least the rest of the season and hopefully for longer. I reckon he goes Chelsea personally. I think it's a massive statement from the club standing their ground. Obviously, we've sold players over the years to bigger clubs, but I think it's a great statement to show that we want to keep him, and I think rightfully so. So yeah, people, once again, his agent did say last week the offers were received. You see what is on the table, and Moses says that he wants to go forward. That is the dream of his whole life. That is an opportunity that may not be repeated in life, his rep said, people. So there's that. Declan Rice, Arsenal told Declan Rice transfer demands by West Ham boss David Moyes, who might not even be there. David Moyes himself said, you know, they'll have to be blown out of the water. Undoubtedly, Declan is going to be a top player. He'll be a British transfer record if he ever leaves West Ham. There's a lot of talk about it, and when you see what's going on, what's going about for the prices, I think Dec will I think Deck will be blowing that out the water. That's for sure when it comes around. Fair enough, people. He's got an option to another year. He's contracted until 2024. I don't think they're going to quite get Enzo Fernandez money. 75 to 100 million is the ballpark allegedly. So we'll have to see. Again, kind of staying with Declan Rice. Apparently, the Gunners prefer a move for Declan Rice over Moses Caicedo. I think the Caicedo thing is gone, if I'm honest with you, people. Despite Brighton pricing Arteta's side out of a move for the Ecuador midfielder, it seemed likely they would return for him in a few months, but Arsenal could prioritise a move for Rice over the youngster instead. Some people say either or, some people say we're going for both. We should be braced for anything, that we get both, that we get one, or we get none, as shown probably with Mudryk and João Felix. The Daily Mail reports that Arsenal have emerged as the surprise runners in the race to sign Declan Rice, and the North Londoners have identified him as their top target. Arsenal prepared to break their club record fee to sign Rice. He's said to be valued at around 80 million, but West Ham will want a fee north of 100 million, despite their chances of receiving this kind of money for the 24-year-old being deemed slim. The Mail notes that Arsenal are now set to turn their full attention to signing the Hammer star in the summer, despite going all out for Caicedo last month, people. 75, 80 for Caicedo. However knows what Rice is, and both teams will probably turn down them initial offers. In Brighton's case, once again, we've seen these Matoma things already, people. Sander Berge wants to become a free agent. Arsenal and Newcastle are keen. It feels like we're going through full circle. Apparently, he can now see out the final 18 months of his Sheffield United contract, and he's got interest from Arsenal and Newcastle. So if he's going to wait a year, who knows what Arsenal's midfield is going to look like in a year. We have previously been linked with him, people. So I imagine we're continuing our scouting. And obviously, he's worked with our assistant coach, Stuvenberg at Gent as well. So we'll have to see, really. I don't quite buy that. Arsenal target Ruben Neves now almost certain to leave Wolves. Reported Arsenal target Ruben Neves is now almost certain to leave Wolves this coming summer. Apparently, The Athletic have reported the midfielder has not been persuaded to sign a new contract at the Molineux, people. So we'll have to see. Apparently, Arsenal are targeting him. He was part of the Wolves team that absolutely tore Liverpool a new one at the weekend. Dean Jones has spoken, said something apparently remains on the wish list. The Athletic didn't say where he goes. What did this specifically say then? Arsenal still have Telemans and Neves on their radar. I mean, I don't know about any of this. I just want to see specifically what's been said. Players like Yuri or Ruben Neves are still players I'd consider to be on Arsenal's list. By all means, Moses Caicedo, Declan Rice, Zubamendi, Ruben Neves, Yuri Telemans, this guy, that guy, the third people, and some other names, really. They're players we should probably look out for this window or at the end of the season. Well, that was previously in Jan. No one was leaving in Jan. Allegedly, Declan Rice is sounding out people connected with Arsenal over a move. Apparently, Adrian Clark has told the Athletics Handbrake Off podcast that West Ham United captain Declan Rice has been sounding out those connected with Arsenal regarding what it's like at the Emirates. And we've previously heard in private terms, he's glowing about Arsenal, really and truly. So we'll have to see exactly what's been said. But allegedly, I can't reveal my source, but I do know that Declan Rice has been sounding out people connected with Arsenal in regards to what's it like, what's it really like. So that sounds like a positive. You know, we're going to have to dot I's and cross T's, and he had a great performance at the weekend against Newcastle. Allegedly, N'Golo Kante is wanted by Atletico Madrid, and Arsenal are also monitoring things. It's about 10 years too late, better yet, for him. We don't need to read that. We've read that. Allegedly, Moses Caicedo remains on Arsenal's transfer list ahead of potential summer move, says Romano. Allegedly, we're still interested. Caicedo will complete the season with Brighton, but the expectation of those close to the club and to the players is that at the end, Caicedo in the summer will have his top club move. This is the feeling. This is the expectation. Caicedo remains on the list of Arsenal, but also Chelsea and Liverpool. Caicedo will probably get his top move in the summer. This is the expectation of those around the player, people. So we'll have to see exactly what happens. We did try to prize him away in the summer. It did not bang. So it is what it is. Declan Rice previously said off topic, we're 100% a top team. You can see they are coached incredibly well, have a lot of attacking talent, a young squad, and they can go the whole way for sure. Allegedly, people, any potential move for the Ecuadorian, Moses Caicedo, will not impact Arsenal's pursuit for West Ham United captain Declan Rice. Football London understands. Error there, got space. The Gunners still hold a keen interest in signing Rice in the summer, with the England international widely expected to leave the Hammers at the end of the current campaign. So it all depends, man. Everyone's adding their own little spin, people. I mean, Pep is talking nonsense about exhaustion. When you're rolling up at the Emirates and smacking us up, there's no issue. Just kind of going into the mind of Brighton, people. again, Brighton are challenging for Europe, and this is why they don't want to tear up their squad. This is De Zerbi's comments in relation to European qualification. For sure, we would like to try to arrive in the Europa League, but for the level of the club, it's not my problem. I don't know the politics of the club. I can't decide. No, I can decide the way in terms of quality of play, in terms of style of play. Yes, the first 11, but the politics of the club, no. I personally think Brighton will lose this man if he keeps doing what he's doing at some point, people, in his career. West Ham always asks for big money for Declan Rice. It was 150 1 year ago. Today, I think the price could be around 90 to 100, but it depends on many factors, and it's really too early to predict the final price tag, which is true. And really, there's no point waffling about transfers at this moment in time. You hope things are going on in the back burners, but we'll have to really see in that regard. Let's start closing things, people. It makes it look a bit prettier. What's this? Why Arsenal missed out on 130 million English star Jude Bellingham? Man, I don't care about we tried stuff. Arsenal 80 million Rolls Royce now seriously wanted at the Emirates. What's this? Arsenal are seriously interested in making a move for West Ham's Declan Rice. We've heard this before, but in the attempt to hear something we haven't, people, Declan Rice is seriously wanted by Arsenal. He has still got a decision to make at the end of the season. It will be made on what level of ambition the club that are trying to sign him have. Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, to a degree, theirs is a bit fluctuated. Chelsea all have ambition. I don't think that's a thing. It will depend on the financial package, what his path is into the team, and what his role will be within the team. I mean, all of them will have him as a player that could grow and stuff, even though he's not initially playing. The two Real Sociedad players who could sign for Arsenal. Arsenal goes with everything for Martin Zubamendi. The young midfielder from Real Sociedad is a great goal for the Gunners and Barcelona for next summer. So Ruben Neves, Yuri Telemans, Caicedo, Declan Rice, at various levels, they're all going to be wanted by everyone. Nobody wants to sell good players. Everyone wants to buy good players. So again, you're not just going to have a free run at anyone. So make something happen in the summer, Edu and everybody who's in charge of transfers. Ruben Neves, if I didn't say that as well. So the bid seems wonderful and exciting. However, he is not the only player from Sociedad that Mikel Arteta is interested in reinforcing the squad at the Emirates Stadium. Zubamendi, as we have previously commented, is the great design the main priority. However, Barcelona's interest in signing a player to replace Busquets means that the bid will be very interesting until the end of next summer. We'll see who takes the cat into the water. We've been linked with Mendes as well. As we reported on this outlet, Bray, Mendes has also aroused the interest of the current leader of the Premier League. The former Celta Vigo player has become the new star of Real Sociedad, and his future points to being away from Sociedad. I mean, he can play in attacking positions. He's a bit lightweight, but he can do all right. Arsenal have been linked with Ansu Fati. Obviously, it's not working out for him at the moment at Barcelona, people. George Mendes is his rep. We've worked with him before. Allegedly, Spurs are looking at him as well, people, and also Bayern Munich. If he could get through his injuries, he'd be great. Xavi has asked for patience. You got to remember, the man is still 20 years of age. I'll take Ansu Fati, but I don't believe it. Arsenal overwhelmingly favourites as midfielder who's available in the summer. Very much wanted Gunners move. It seems that Arsenal will be the overwhelming favourites to sign Yuri Telemans in the summer, as they'll still be there, and he very much wanted to join previously. Things can change, really. And if you're Telemans, let's just say we got Moses, it's probably not going to happen, but let's just say we got Declan Rice. If you got if you're Telemans, and you saw Declan Rice roll in, and you saw Caicedo, on one hand, it shows ambition. It shows a squad that's trying to be built. But at the same time, if you're now Telemans, you're looking at, Xhaka and Partey, long-term, probably not going to be there. But Caicedo and Rice don't necessarily walk into the team if we look at it from a devil's advocate aspect. Where do I tie in? You've still got Lokonga, who I probably think I'm better than, but he's a fellow Belgium lad. If he comes back from Crystal Palace and looks good, Jorginho ain't got too many legs left, but he's there. El Nene's been injured, but he's just signed an extension. Only 3 men can play in midfield, or 2 if you look at the pivot. And there's a lot of games for people to get game time, but it all depends, really. Again, all of these guys you're linked with, they're all going to be wanted, especially Telemans. He's 25. He's a good player, be a free agent. So we'll have to see, people, what happens. But allegedly, Arsenal are still in there. Apparently, Ben Jacobs has said, come the summer, if Telemans is available on a free, there'll be a variety of clubs looking at him. Arsenal will still be there for sure. And we know that Telemans very much wanted that move a year ago and was hopeful that something might come off throughout the summer. But Arsenal moved in a different direction, people. So we'll have to see how that one develops as well. Once again, the Daily Mail has been speaking. It spoke about Jude Bellingham. It said Real Madrid and Liverpool and City are the front runners. Obviously, people, you then go and look at someone like, where's Caicedo? Declan Rice, again, wanted by Chelsea and Arsenal primarily. Probably all the top 6 will look at him. The only one I think he has no chance is Spurs. And obviously his contract is running down. He's made no secret of wanting to play at a higher level. So we'll have to see there. Caicedo, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Liverpool all need to revamp their midfield. I personally think he ends up at these two clubs. His price is allegedly 80 million. Hopefully we can get that done, people. We all know 2 bids rejected for him. The failed pursuit of his March, January. And we all know he did the social media antics, but didn't come to anything. He's contracted until 2025. So they either need to look after him in terms of a contract or let the man go. Mitoma is flying. Did Arsenal sign the wrong Brighton winger? I mean, Andy Naylor, I'm not reading this. Obviously, the way Mitoma's playing, you could say that. Again, Milinkovic-Savic has been linked with a whole host of clubs. This article has said they're setting up a new contract for the individual and leverages Newcastle's interest as well as indirectly Juventus's. Another one who's contracted until 2024. Again, this article says he's on track for Lazio exit as he eyes up Arsenal. Let's see what's going on, people. He's reportedly ready to leave Lazio for a new adventure and has his sights set on a move to Arsenal. Again, you got to take these things with a pinch of salt, people. Apparently, a conference call took place between the president and the Serbian's agent where no progress on a contract renewal was made. Apparently, Kesman, his agent, reiterated his desire to want to try something new. Apparently, he's keen to join Mikel Arteta's Arsenal, who have long been following the 27-year-old, and Lazio are now hoping for an approach from the Premier League side in the coming months. Reports suggest that, they offered him a new contract worth a net of 5 million euros. And apparently they're hoping to secure 50 to 60 million for his sale. So that's about 40, 55 odd million quid in line with conversion rates. Once again, people, Lazio star Milinkovic-Savic wants to leave the club in search of silverware with Juventus, Arsenal, and Newcastle interested. We did hear in January you could get him on. You could get him on loan for 10 million and commit the rest at a later date. The player's ambition is too high for the club standards. I mean, we kind of know that. We know they're going to move him on really and truly. But I don't quite believe any of this, people. Director confident on Newcastle target, open to Arsenal moves next steps. Just want to find where it's talking about Arsenal, people. Well, we just know Arsenal are interested. Apparently, Newcastle are willing to bid 53.5 million. Imagine Guimaraes and him together, it'd be lit. And he could even earn 10 million per year. So that's, double what he would have got if he signed his renewal at Lazio. Who knows, really? But I always look at these Italian links with a degree of pessimism. So we'll have to see. Until people are holding shirts, who knows, people? Looking at this, Arsenal currently favourites from Mitoma. I hope so. Hopefully Tomiyasu can put a word in. Apparently, we're targeting the Sociedad duo, as said. We've been linked with Asu Fati. We're allegedly the favourites for Yuri Telemans. It will be a record-breaking bid, or better yet, transfer to get Declan Rice. We face competition for Declan Rice. Martinelli has signed a new deal, as we know, until 2027 with the option of 2028. So never want another year on that. Pardon me, you'd have to read into whatever, people. But with that seems to be the transfer news. Yuri is not this level. He don't have the intensity. He can make the decisive pass, but if the club wants Yuri Telemans, I will support it. Savic is over with. We should have done it by now. If Milinkovic-Savic joins, I think you mean he's our best midfielder. Milinkovic-Savic is not a CDM, better as a box-to-box as he's a playmaker. I never said he's a defensive mid.